Welcome to Vanished Echoes. Today we delve into a harrowing case that has left a small town in Idaho gripped by fear and a nation captivated by mystery. On November 13, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students were brutally murdered in their off-campus home. The suspect? A 29-year-old criminology PhD student named Bryan Kohberger. Bryan Kohberger, once an aspiring criminologist, now stands accused of a crime that has shocked the quiet town of Moscow, Idaho, and captured the nation's attention. Kohberger was a PhD student at Washington State University, just miles away from the crime scene. His arrest on December 30, 2022, in his family's Pennsylvania home, raised many questions about how someone studying crime could be linked to such a horrific act. Kohberger's background in criminology adds a chilling dimension to this case. How did a scholar of crime and justice end up on the wrong side of the law? We'll explore the evidence that led to his arrest and the ongoing courtroom battles. To understand the gravity of this case, let's take a closer look at the timeline of events leading up to and following the tragic night of November 13, 2022. On the evening of November 12, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee Goncalves, Maddie Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Chapin, were enjoying a typical Saturday night. Kaylee, who had recently moved out of the house, and Maddie went to a downtown sports bar, the Corner Club. Meanwhile, Xana and Ethan attended a party at the nearby Sigma Chi fraternity. Kaylee and Maddie were seen chatting and smiling at a food truck in downtown Moscow around 1:41 a.m., just hours before the tragedy. They returned home with a ride from a private party shortly before 2 a.m. Between 3 and 4 a.m. on November 13, 2022, the tranquility of Moscow was shattered. Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan were brutally attacked and murdered in their home. According to the surviving roommates, all 4 were home by 2 a.m. Xana received a DoorDash delivery around 4 a.m., and shortly thereafter, noises and movements within the house were heard. A surviving roommate, awakened by these sounds, witnessed a masked intruder leaving through a sliding glass door after hearing disturbing noises and a male voice saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Shockingly, no calls to 911 were made until 11:58 a.m., nearly 8 hours after the murders. The call requested help for an unconscious person and was placed from within the residence using a surviving roommate's cell phone. When police arrived, they found the 4 victims dead and the surviving roommates in a state of distress. The crime scene showed no signs of forced entry, and nothing appeared to be missing from the home. The investigation into what happened during those early morning hours had just begun. In the weeks following the murders, law enforcement worked relentlessly to piece together the events of that night. DNA evidence, cell phone data, and surveillance footage of a white Hyundai Elantra played critical roles in the investigation. Surveillance footage captured a white Hyundai Elantra making multiple passes near the house around the time of the murders. This vehicle became a focal point in the hunt for the killer. On December 30th, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was arrested at his family's home in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. DNA found on a knife sheath left at the crime scene matched Kohberger's, leading to his dramatic arrest. His arrest brought a mix of relief and disbelief to the Moscow community. As details of his academic background and personal life emerged, the nation watched closely. In early 2023, Kohberger faced his first court hearings. His defense team quickly began challenging the evidence, filing motions to dismiss the charges and requesting access to more information from the prosecution. Kohberger's attorneys questioned the DNA evidence and the validity of the cell phone data that placed him at the scene, claiming he was out stargazing during the murders. Throughout the spring of 2023, the defense scrutinized the handling of evidence. They grilled Detective Lawrence Mowery over newly revealed phone records and the management of key data, suggesting potential mishandling. Despite these challenges, the judge denied the motion to dismiss the charges, setting the stage for a trial that would delve deeply into the evidence and the events of that night. In December 2023, the house where the murders took place was demolished. This emotional step was taken to help the community and the victims' families begin to heal from the tragedy. The evidence against Bryan Kohberger is complex and compelling. DNA found on a knife sheath left at the crime scene was a critical piece linking him to the murders. However, Kohberger's defense has cast doubt on the integrity of this evidence, suggesting that the DNA could have been planted and that other crucial evidence has been withheld by the prosecution. Cell phone records place Kohberger near the crime scene on the night of the murders. Yet his defense argues these records are incomplete and support his claim that he was driving around stargazing. As the case moves forward, the courtroom has become a battleground. Kohberger's defense team has filed multiple motions to compel the prosecution to turn over more evidence, while prosecutors are preparing for a complex and high-stakes trial. The defense has also questioned the credibility of certain evidence, including whether key data was deleted or mishandled by law enforcement. These battles highlight the tension and complexity of the upcoming trial. The impact of these murders has been profound. The University of Idaho and the town of Moscow have been deeply affected, grappling with fear and grief. Candlelight vigils and memorials were held to honor the victims and support the bereaved families. Despite initial assurances from authorities that there was no immediate threat to the community, the lack of information and the severity of the crime left many residents anxious and distrustful. The exodus of students and the cancellation of classes reflected the widespread fear. As the case moves forward, the families of the victims, particularly the Goncalves family, have expressed their frustration with the pace of the legal proceedings and their desire for swift justice. The investigation continues, with both the defense and prosecution preparing for a trial that promises to be both complex and emotionally charged. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, while the defense is committed to challenging every piece of evidence presented. Key questions remain. What was Bryan Kohberger's motive? How did he allegedly carry out these horrific crimes? And will justice be served for the victims and their families? These questions lie at the heart of a case that has captured and horrified the nation. As we follow this case to its conclusion, we honor the memories of Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan, and stand with their families in their quest for justice. Stay tuned to Vanished Echoes for the latest updates and in-depth analysis of the Bryan Kohberger trial and other true crime stories. Don't forget to subscribe to Vanished Echoes and click the bell icon to be notified of our latest videos. Join us as we continue to explore the darkest corners of the human experience and uncover the mysteries that haunt our world. In our next episode, we delve into the mystery of the Egyptian pyramids, revealing some secrets for the first time. Subscribe to Vanished Echoes and be the first to join the search for answers.